Chapter 4. Simon mumbled and started to pace about the room. I couldn't believe it. If Simon wasn't able to solve this problem, we were really going to be in trouble. I started to panic. Why did you have to be staring at those pictures on that wall instead of listening to the guide's warning? I grilled at him. I grilled Simon. If you had been paying attention, we wouldn't be in this mess. Shouting at Simon didn't make me feel any better, and I realized I also had forgotten to tell Simon about the guide's warning. I was just about to apologize when he jumped up and hugged me. That's it, the picture's in the ritual shaft. That's where I saw it. Thanks, Amy. That was good thinking. He ran ahead, leaving me all alone in the room with the mummy fast approaching. Wait for me, I screamed, running faster after him. Simon was already hard at work when I burst into the room. Quick, Amy, write this down. I swung my backpack to the dirt floor and pulled out a notebook and pen. I wrote rapidly as he dictated the words from the wall. We were finished in no time. What's the plan, Simon? I turned my head first on one way and then the other as I tried to watch the doorway and Simon at the same time. Chapter 5. First, we have to lure the mummy back into the burial chamber, Simon said. Once he's there, I will repeat the chant to make him go back to sleep. It sounded simple enough, and I was beginning to feel confident that everything would work out until Simon added, "Of course, I sure hope he decides to crawl back into the sarcophagus before he falls asleep. Otherwise, we are going to have to pick him up and put him there." My confidence faded, partly because I didn't like the thought of having to touch the mummy, and partly because the mummy chose that moment to enter the room. And boy, was he cranky. I guess I couldn't blame him. If I had been sleeping for over 3,000 years and someone suddenly woke me up, I'd be cranky too. He's back, I whispered urgently, cramming my notebook into my pack as we got ready to initiate our plan. We waited until the mummy had descended the, the, the stairs before I, sprinting by him, back up the stairs and into the corridor. I looked over my shoulder and saw the mummy coming after us. It worked. He's following us, and he's moving much faster. I guess he's wide awake now, Simon said. We raced down the stairs into the burial chamber and ducked into the annex room to the left. Simon pulled the notebook from my bag and found the only page with writing. We waited and watched as the mummy grunted and stomped around the chamber trying to find us. I signaled Simon to begin the chant. King of kings, power of the land, lie back down to rest in the burning desert sand. Simon recited the chant from our hiding place. We watched closely to see if it was taking effect. The mummy took a step in our direction. Quick, read the second verse, I said urgently, and Simon resumed the chant. In a red sarcophagus you were kept, where you spent 300 years in slumber. Return now to the place you slept and travel back to your time of wonder. The mummy stopped and rubbed his eyes. I had to sit on my hands to stop myself from clapping as he turned and headed toward the sarcophagus. The chant was working. The mummy climbed back into his sarcophagus and lay back down. We waited a full minute until we were satisfied he was asleep, and then we tiptoed over, slowly closed the lid, and ran out of the room. Once we reached the next room, we grinned triumphantly and gave each other a flying high five. Chapter 6. We had solved the one problem, but we still had two more to go. First, we had to find our way out of the pyramid. Second, we had to sneak back into the group before Miss Crabwalk noticed we were missing. The map in the guidebook quickly led us through the chambers, down the corridors, and up the stairs into the hot desert air. But slipping back into the group undetected was not going to be as easy. We could see that Miss Crabwalk had already counted half of the students in the line. Simon and I ran behind the tour bus, hid in a horde of camels, and finally slipped into the back of the line behind huge Harry and gigantic George. We were just in time. 2 minutes after she counted us as number 49 and 50, the last two in the head count. Okay, everyone's here. Let's go on the bus, Miss Crabwalk shouted, and we all marched forward 2 by 2. Off our left, we saw another tour group heading down into the pyramid. To speak the name of the dead is to make them live again. We heard the tour guide whisper ominously. I noticed 2 kids at the back of the group weren't paying attention to the guide and wondered if they would soon be experiencing an adventure similar to ours. Simon and I sat together at the back of the bus reflecting on our escapade. We knew all of the kids would be amazed at what we had experienced today. We knew we would become the most popular kids at school once everyone heard of how brave and smart we were, but we also knew it would have to remain our little secret if we wanted to stay out of trouble with Miss Crabwalk. The bus finally pulled away, heading off to the next stop on our tour. Simon and I were so exhausted that we promptly fell asleep. We did not hear the excited chatter of the 48 and other school children on the bus. We did not hear the tour guide's preview of the upcoming tour, and we definitely did not hear his warning not to look directly into the eyes of the statue of Anubis. We continued to sleep peacefully as the bus carried us closer and closer to our next adventure.